Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6 Notes, Day 2. Today we're talking about applications of ratios and proportions. Our learning target today is to be able to solve problems involving proportions, including unit rate. Well, you might be asking yourself, Mr. Grice, what is unit rate? Well, unit rate is the rate for one single unit. Okay, the rate for one single unit. Okay, so let's go into some examples. Number one, it says it costs $2.25 to purchase 9 apples. How much does 1 apple cost? So what we want to do, the two things that we're talking about are we're talking about money and apples. And they want to know how much does 1 apple cost? Okay, so the first thing they talk about is money. The second thing they talk about are apples. So what we're really making here is we're making a proportion. Okay, so we've got 225 and we don't know how much 1 costs, but we know how much 9 costs and then the 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so when you cross multiply, we get 9x equals 2.25. Okay, let me rewrite that so it actually looks like it's 2.25. Okay, so 2.25. Now, to get the x all by itself, we have to divide by 9. And this is where people are like, I don't like this. Okay, you have to take 225 and long division divided by 9. Okay, so first thing I like to do is put that decimals all the way up. Now ask yourself, how many times does 9 go into 2? Well, it goes in 0 times. Okay, now how many times does 9 go into 22 without going over? Well, it goes 2 times, and 2 times 9 is 18. You need to subtract, and we get a 4 and bring down the 5. Now, how many times does 9 go into 45? Well, exactly 5 times. 9 times 5 is 45, and then we're done. Okay, so we get that x equals 0.25, or we can say that it costs 25 cents. All right, let's look at the next one. It says, it takes Amelia 30 minutes to type 660 words. How many words can she type per minute? Okay, so the two things we're talking about is time, and then we're talking about words. Okay, so we got minutes over words. So we know that she can type 30 minutes. When she types 30 minutes, it's 660 words. Okay, and how many in 1 minute? Okay, so once again, you cross multiply. That's where we get 30x equals 660. Okay, now to get the x by itself, you divide both sides by 30, and those cancel. And then once again, we got to do long division. You got to do 660 divided by 30. And don't freak out, guys. Okay, so how many times does 30 go into 66? Only goes twice. Okay, you subtract, drop down the 0. How many times does 30 go into 60? Twice. Okay, so these aren't going to be too bad, guys. All right, so x equals 22 words. All right. Number 3. Let's see if you can set it up all on your own. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, so they're talking about the calories over the minutes. So I know 180 calories in 12 minutes, and they say how many calories, so that's your X per minute. Okay, so that's where all of those numbers came from. Set up your cross multiplication and you get 12x equals 180. To get the x by itself, we divide both sides by 12. And then you're doing 12 and 180. Okay, so this one is on your multiplication chart, but let's do it anyways. How many times does 12 go into 18? It goes in once. You get 12 and you subtract and you bring it down. How many times does 12 go into 60? Well, it goes in exactly 5 times. Okay. So in 1 minute, this lady, or Manuel, sorry, would burn up 60. Where'd I get 60 from? 15 calories. Okay, number 4. Pause the video, see if you can do this one all on your own, all the way. Okay, good luck. Okay, how many of you guys got this far? You're like, all right, well, I got to do 6 divided by 15, and I just don't know where to start. All right, well, does 6 go into 1? It doesn't. But does 6 go into 15? Yeah, it goes into 15 2 times. You get 12, but then we get a 3, okay? And this is where we need to start adding numbers, okay? And when you add a number, the first thing we got to do is put that decimal down and then add a 0, okay? How many times does 6 go into 30? It goes in there 5 times. And when you subtract, you get a 0, okay? So we get that x equals 2.5, and they're talking about characters. Okay, let's move on down to number 5. It says the following chart shows that ounces of sour cream in different size containers. Find which brand is the best deal in terms of the price per ounce. Okay, so that means for each one of these brands, whether it's the Moo Cow, the Dean's, or the Jewel, I want to know how much each one of those costs per ounce. Okay, so that's just for me, so I know what to write down. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to do is the Moo Cow. So we got to do 279 divided by 9. Okay, I know that's where my decimal is, so I'm going to bring it up right away. I'm going to highlight this in green so I don't forget that that's Moo Cow. Okay, does 9 go into 2? No. But does 9 go into 27? It does. It goes into 27 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. That turns into a 0. Drop the 9. Does 9 go into 9? Yep, it goes in exactly 1 time. So Moo Cow is 31 cents. Okay, the next one we need to do is Dean's. Okay, and so we're dividing $2.24 by 7. Same thing, I'm going to put that decimal up right away. Does 7 go into 2? No. But does 7 go into 22? Yeah, it goes into 22 3 times. We get 21. 2 minus 2 is 1. Bring down the 4. Does 7 go into 14? It goes in there twice. And we get 0. So the Dean's is 0.32. Okay? So if I'm trying to find the best deal, I know it's not going to be Dean's, okay? Because the Moo Cow is cheaper. So the last one we need to do is the Jewel brand. Let's find out. We got 360 divided by 12. Okay, I'm going to bring that decimal up. Does 12 go into 3? It does not. But does 12 go into 36? Yeah, it goes into 36 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36. And you're not done just because it says 0 right there. Does 12 go into 0? No. So you have to write down that 0 so we know that it's talking about 30 cents and not 3 cents. Okay? So, which brand is better? Well, I don't know about taste. I'm not going to comment on that. But we know that per ounce, that the Jewel brand is a better value. Okay, let's move on. Applications and proportions. So be sure the units of the numerators are the same and the units of the denominators are the same. Okay, we got to be very careful to this. Now, at a local playground, the ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 2. If there are 14 girls, they want to know how many boys are there. Okay, so when you're setting this up, be careful about who's on the top and what's on the bottom. So when we set this up, it told us at the beginning that there were 3 boys to every 2 girls. We know there are 14 girls, but how many boys are there? Okay, so setting up our proportion, we get 2x equals 3 times 14 is 42. To get the x all by itself, we divide by 2. 42 divided by 2, we get x equals 21. So our answer, how many boys are there? There would be 21 boys. Okay, so all we're doing is we're taking that proportion and applying it to the problem. All right, let's move on. Flip it over. Number 7. When Lisa works out at the gym for 20 minutes, she usually burns 180 calories. How many calories is she expected to burn if she works out for 45 minutes? So the two things that we're talking about here is we're talking about the minutes and we're talking about calories. Okay, so minutes and calories. The first one said that for 20 minutes she burned 180 calories. And then it tells us that we know that she worked out for 45 minutes. So how many calories did she burn? Okay, so this one you will have some work to do, okay? Because when you cross multiply, you get 20x, but we have to do 180 times 45. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 8 is 40, and 5 times 1 plus 4 is 9. Okay, gotta put a 0 down. For place value, 4 times 0 is 0, 4 times 8 is 32, and 4 times 1 plus 3 is 7. When you add those up, we get 0, 0, 1, and 8. Okay? So 20x equals 8,100. Okay? And if you don't like writing that, right there. We can do it like that. All right, so let's divide both sides by 20. And right away, I'm going to cut those zeros out. So if we're doing this long division, you got 810 divided by 2. 2 goes into 8 4 times. You're not done. Now, does 2 go into 1? No, it does not. So then we have to drop down the next number. And does 2 go into 10? It does. It goes into 10 5 times. And now we're done. Okay, so x equals 405, and that would be 405 calories. Okay. Number 8, let's see if you can do number 8 all on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, so going through this, I got to the part where it was 2x equals 3,900. Okay, but you have to take the 3,900 and divide it by 2. Okay, so how many times does 2 go into 3? Once. And then we drop down the 9. How many times does 2 go into 19? Well, it goes in 9 times, and that's 18. How many times does 2 go into 10? Well, we just did that 5 times. And don't forget about that last 0. Okay, does 2 go into 0? Nope. And now you're done. So that's where we get x equals 1,950. Now, reading this last part, they want to know, will she be able to stay within her $1,800 messages for the month? I don't know, guys. What do you think? It just said, we just proved at this rate, she's going to go 1,950. And so will she make it? No. Okay. She's not. She will go over with 150 text messages. Okay, so we always got to be careful to read through and see exactly what it's asking for us. Okay, now your homework is all right here, but let's take a look-ski. It says 3.6 practice day 2, solve each problem on a, it says it right there, separate sheet. Okay, now if you have any questions or need further assistance, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, that's it for Algebra 2, Chapter 3.6 Notes, Day 2. Thanks for watching.